Mary Oliver, Attention as Prayer. You know that moment when you're technically free, but your mind is still running? Notifications, worries, to-do lists, regrets. And even when you step outside, you're not really outside. Your body is there, but your attention is somewhere else. Now imagine this. A woman walks through a field for hours, not for exercise, not for content, not to optimize anything. She just looks so carefully that the world starts to feel sacred again. Mary Oliver once wrote a simple sentence that can change your entire day. Attention is the beginning of devotion. In this video, we're going to explore what Mary Oliver meant without making it complicated, religious, or abstract. We'll look at her life, her most famous lines, and the quiet practices hidden inside her poems. And you'll leave with a way to turn ordinary moments, washing dishes, walking to the car, sitting with stress, into something steadier, something that feels like prayer, even if you don't use that word. Here's the big idea. Attention is not just a mental skill. It's a spiritual posture. Not spiritual as in mystical clouds, spiritual as in how you stand inside your life. Mary Oliver's work keeps saying this. If you can learn to truly notice, not glance, not scroll, not multitask, but notice, you return to something older than anxiety, reality. And when you meet reality with clear attention, a strange thing happens. You stop begging life to be different, and you start meeting life as it is, with respect, with tenderness, with courage. That's why attention can feel like prayer, because prayer, at its best, isn't performance, it's presence.
1. Introduction, Historical and Cultural Context. A. Who Mary Oliver was. Mary Oliver was an American poet, born in 1935, and published for decades. She became widely loved not because her poems were flashy, but because they were clear. She wrote about ponds, geese, grass, dogs, lilies, and somehow, without preaching, she spoke to grief, loneliness, shame, awe, and the hunger to feel alive. She won major literary awards, including the Pulitzer Prize and the National Book Award, yet she stayed personally private. She didn't build a loud public image. She didn't try to be a celebrity poet. She mostly walked, read, wrote, and watched the world closely. She lived for many years in Provincetown, Massachusetts, with her longtime partner, the photographer Molly Malone Cook. Their life together matters here because Mary Oliver's poems often carry a quiet devotion, not loud romance, but the kind of love that learns the world by paying attention to it. And later in life, she moved to Florida, still walking, still looking, still writing. B. The cultural problem she helps us with. Mary Oliver's popularity isn't an accident. She speaks directly to a modern illness. We live surrounded by information and starving for experience. We see everything, but notice almost nothing. We know a lot, but feel very little. We can explain the world, but we don't touch it. And here's the painful part. When attention collapses, meaning collapses. You can still function, but life feels thin. Mary Oliver is like an antidote, not because she teaches nature, but because she teaches presence, and presence heals. C. A common misunderstanding to correct. Let's fix a misconception that follows her everywhere. Misunderstanding number 1. Mary Oliver is just a nature poet. No, Nature is her doorway, not her destination. She didn't write about trees because she had nothing else to say. She wrote about trees because trees don't lie, because nature is honest, because the natural world doesn't flatter you, and it doesn't cancel you. It just is. In her work, nature becomes a mirror. How do you live with fear? How do you live with death? How do you live with joy that won't last? How do you live with your one life? That's not just nature. That's philosophy, written in field notes. 2. Core exploration. Quotes, stories, practices. A. The crisis. We look without seeing. Let's start with the uncomfortable truth. Most of us are not paying attention. We stare at screens. We skim conversations. We half listen. We rush through meals. We walk through beautiful places and remember none of it. And then we wonder why we feel numb. Mary Oliver saw this coming long before smartphones. She warned against looking without noticing, because when attention becomes shallow, life becomes shallow. So the first movement in her work is not go outside, it's wake up. Not with hype, with clarity. Here's a tiny practice right now. Look around your room and pick one object, any object. Now notice one detail you hadn't seen before, a scratch, a shadow, a curve, a fading color. That's it. That moment, small as it is you stepping back into reality. B. The mercy. You do not have to be good. Now we drop into one of her most famous openings. From her poem, Wild Geese, she begins with a line that has comforted millions. You do not have to be good. A lot of people misread that line, so let's correct the second misconception. Misunderstanding number 2, she means do whatever you want. No, she's not celebrating selfishness. She's cutting through toxic shame. She's speaking to the exhausted person who thinks love must be earned through suffering. She's speaking to the person who thinks spirituality means constant self-punishment. In the poem, she rejects the idea that you must crawl through life repenting to deserve belonging. In other words, stop trying to become worthy. Start becoming honest. Because attention begins with truth, and truth begins when you stop performing. Emotional shift here. You go from pressure to permission. Not permission to be careless, permission to be real. C. The sacred turn. Attention is the beginning of devotion. Now we arrive at our central line again. Attention is the beginning of devotion. Let's unpack it in plain language. Devotion doesn't have to mean religion. It can mean what you give your life to, what you protect, what you keep returning to, what you treat as holy, quietly. If you pay attention to someone you love, that's devotion. If you pay attention to your child's face, that's devotion. If you pay attention to a tree in winter, that's devotion. If you pay attention to your own pain without running away, that's devotion too. Mary Oliver is basically saying, before you try to fix your life, see your life. Because what you refuse to notice will quietly control you, and what you truly notice can transform you. A practice. 1-minute devotion. Once a day, give 1 minute of full attention to one ordinary thing. Water in a cup, light on a wall, steam rising from food, the feeling of your feet on the floor. 1 minute. No narration in your head. No, this is boring. Just attention. That's not a productivity hack. That's training your soul to return. D. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. In her poem, The Summer Day, Mary Oliver says something quietly shocking. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. And then she doesn't argue theology. She doesn't debate definitions. She simply says she knows how to pay attention, how to kneel in grass, how to be idle and blessed. This is one of her greatest gifts. She makes prayer feel less like a performance and more like a relationship with the real. And then she ends the poem with the line almost everyone knows. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Now, here's the third misconception to correct. Misunderstanding number 3. That line is a motivational poster. It's not. In the poem, she asks this question right after talking about death, about how everything dies too soon. So this is not a dream bigger message, it's a mortality message. She's saying, your life is not endless, so don't sleepwalk through it. And oddly, that's not depressing. It's clarifying, because when you accept that time is real, your attention becomes more tender. E. The 3-line life rule. Mary Oliver also gives a simple instruction many people quote. Pay attention, be astonished, tell about it. Let's translate that into everyday life. Pay attention. Stop living on autopilot. Be astonished. Let the world touch you again. Tell about it. Share what you saw, even if it's small. Write it, say it, live it. Important correction. This is not telling you to become positive. Astonishment is not forced happiness. Astonishment can include grief. It can include awe mixed with sadness. It can include that strange feeling when beauty makes you ache. Astonishment is simply, I am still able to be moved. And being moved is a sign you're alive. Practice. 3-line journal. Once a day, write 3 lines. One thing I noticed. One thing that surprised me. One thing I want to remember. That's it. Over time, your life stops feeling like a blur. F. The hidden darkness in Mary Oliver. Some people think Mary Oliver is too gentle, like her poems are only soft light. But critics, and even devoted readers, often miss something. Her gentleness is not naive. It's earned. Many essays and profiles note that her work carries an undercurrent of pain and endurance, and that her emotional honesty is part of why it resonates. This matters because it changes how we hear her. When she talks about walking into the world, she's not saying, life is always pretty. She's saying, even when life hurts, reality is still here, and attention can keep you human. That's a different kind of comfort. It's sturdier. G. Attention as resistance. Here's another side of Mary Oliver people miss. Attention is not only personal, it's also quietly political. If your attention can be bought, you can be led. If your attention can be hijacked, you can be shaped. When you reclaim attention, you reclaim your life. So when Mary Oliver urges you to look closely at a leaf, a bird, a field, she's not giving you an aesthetic hobby. She's giving you a form of freedom. In an age that profits from your distraction, full attention becomes rebellion. 3. Practical application. Daily life practices. A. Prayer practice for non-religious people. If the word prayer doesn't fit you, try this definition. Prayer equals deliberate presence plus honest response. You don't need a religious identity to practice that. You just need a willingness to be here. Do this once a day, 30 seconds. Look at something real. Say silently, "This belongs to the world, not to my worry." Breathe once, slowly. That's it. You're training your mind to return from obsession to reality. B. The soft animal check-in. Mary Oliver has a phrase many people love, the soft animal of the body. Here's a daily practice, 60 seconds. Ask, what is my body feeling? Tight? Heavy? Buzzing? Calm. Ask, what does it need? Water? Rest? Movement? Honesty. Then do one small thing to respect it. Not dramatic, not perfect, just respectful. That kind of attention is devotion. C. One wild and precious decision filter. When you're stuck, overthinking, people-pleasing, spiraling, use Mary Oliver's question as a filter. What is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Here's how to use it practically. If you're about to say yes out of fear, pause. If you're about to numb out again, pause. If you're about to postpone what matters, pause. Then ask 3 small questions. What matters here, really? What's the next honest step, not the whole plan? What would I do if I respected my life today? This isn't about pressure, it's about clarity. D. Astonishment reset for anxiety. When anxiety is high, your mind shrinks to a tunnel. Attention can widen the horizon. The astonishment reset, 90 seconds. Name 3 things you can see. Name 2 sounds you can hear. Name 1 thing that is quietly beautiful or interesting, even if it's small. This is not pretending life is perfect. It's reminding your nervous system, the world is bigger than this thought. E. The walking practice. Go with a question. Mary Oliver walked a lot, long, observant walks. Try this. Before a walk, anywhere, even a city street, take 1 question with you. What am I avoiding? What do I actually need? Where is life still offering me something? Then don't force an answer. Just walk and notice what pulls your attention. A bird, a person's laughter, a tree behind a fence, the color of the sky. Sometimes your answer won't arrive as words. It arrives as a feeling. I'm still here. The world is still here. F. The sharing practice. Tell about it, without performing. Mary Oliver says, tell about it. But telling can turn into performance if you're not careful. So do it privately first. Try this once a week. Write a short note, 5 sentences, about a moment you truly noticed. Not what you achieved, not what you posted, what you noticed. Over time, you'll rebuild a life that feels lived from the inside. 4. Closing reflection. Gentle, mindful takeaway. Mary Oliver doesn't demand that you become a better person overnight. She doesn't ask you to conquer your emotions. She doesn't sell you a new identity. She offers something quieter, a return to attention. And if attention is the beginning of devotion, then devotion can begin anywhere. In a kitchen, in a parking lot, on a bus, in grief, in a tired morning, in the middle of a life that doesn't look perfect at all. You don't have to be good. You don't have to have it figured out. You just have to stop for a moment and notice what's real. Because attention, real attention, is how we come back to life. And maybe that's what prayer has always been. Not a performance for the sky, but a way of standing on the earth with open eyes. If you want more videos like this, calm, honest wisdom for real life, subscribe to Carefree Sloth and tap like. And if you feel like it, share 1 thing you noticed today, 1 small moment of attention in the comments.